Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Immigrant Money. We're here today with someone that is changing people's life. He's changing the landscape of the diaspora here in America. And I'm talking about the one and only Dr. Kiawi. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing quite good, Stephen. Good to meet you. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. I'm doing good and I can't complain. We have a tradition here. Each one of my guests, I offer them a drink. I tell them, good luck, more blessings and more prosperity. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, man. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. So I almost never talk about my guests because I want them to tell us, tell us about themselves, tell us who they are, what they do. You're a formidable man, that I know. But can you tell us who you are?
Thank you so much. Where do I begin? My name is Dr. Dennis Kyawi. I'm the CEO of Kyawi Tech IT Academy, headquartered here in Houston, Texas. Our goal is to build and empower our community through education. One of the ways that we've decided to do that is through information technology, advocating for the immigrants to find a potential and understand that there is a huge career in database administration and other data related training. So we are here, a whole community. We train, we mentor, and we empower one another through education. And that's what we are. That's what we are. I'm so excited to be here today to share my own story and tell you a little bit about what we do, and hopefully be able to inspire most of our audience that are watching today to understand that there is a huge career benefit when you look in other direction, especially in the field of information technology.
I am super excited to have you here. I want to touch on this because one of my guests, they were here the other day and they said, I hope you're not offended, but this is India Watch. They said, IT technicians, the money they make is chicken change. How do you feel about that comment?
Well, what I could say is money is relative, right? It is relative. And even if you are a millionaire, there's always going to be a billionaire. And if you get to a billionaire, there's going to be a trillionaire. So it's really
Right.
a relative kind of a thing. But the main important thing right now is, are you satisfied with what you're going to make in the field
Right.
that you go into? And I'm talking about my field. That's the only thing I can talk of because I know it and I master it. I know what it takes to get into that field. Now, let me give you
Okay.
some numbers here. Database administration, it's a program that trains database administrators. Now,
Right.
as a database administrator, you are averaging on a starting salary close to $110,000 per annum. Well,
Okay.
someone could say that's chicken change, but I think that someone out there who is just struggling to get into the IT industry will not find that as chicken change. Of course,
Right.
working in the field for a couple of years, if I give you about 5 or 10 years in an IT industry, you're going to look at 110 as chicken change, but it was not
Right.
chicken change when you joined, when you started. So our goal
Right.
here, it's not really to advocate for those that are already in their field because they know what it takes. They know how to get the money. But
Right.
it's really for the people that are still out there and wondering whether this can be a career for them. And looking at the salary, I don't think that I saw it as chicken change when I was trying to join. To me, it was a life-changing decision. And I think that most of the audience listening today will believe with me that starting up with $100,000 annual salary is not a chicken change.
That totally makes sense. I mean, I'm in your shoes too. I don't think 100,000 is chicken change. But I just wanted you to touch on that and give us your perspective on what you think about it. Um, Going forward, right? I wanted to ask you this. You're a doctor. You have an extensive background in education in other fields, not the information technology. What moved you from your doctorate background into becoming an IT technician and stuff like that?
I could tell you a little bit about my background and to really make you understand how I finally came into the field of information technology. Well, I started up originally. I'm from Cameroon. I moved to Germany immediately after my high school. That was all the way back in 2003. Then I moved to Germany. I started off my career, my training, my education as a medical informatics, right? It was really in the medical informatics. And back then in Germany, it was kind of really tough getting into a German university without a German language. So you had to kind of learn the German language. It took me about 2 to 3 years to really master the language close to the mother tongue. Now, when I finally got to that point of getting to the university, my education that I started up with, I had to stop. It took me a longer time to really get to the field where I was not able to. I had to wait an extra year in order to finally enroll into my medical informatics. Now, when that happened, I didn't want to wait. I went into process engineering. Now, I decided to do process engineering. I got a bachelor in process engineering, and I went further with, there was a program back then called German Franco Binational Agreement, where you could get 2 degrees. So it was between Germany and France. So I went to France for 2 years for a master's degree in chemical engineering. That was just a complement of the process engineering that I did. And then at the end of my program, I decided to do an internship, which was then in the Netherlands. Then that was when I got introduced in the field of data. I did some analytics measuring the polymorphic nature of molecules and crystals for a chemical industry. So when I was done with that, I got referred for a PhD position at the University of Amsterdam, where I studied molecules. I did astrochemical molecules, looking at the formation of molecules in stars and seeing how we can create these molecules at a very tiny level to create what we call clusters. That was what I was doing. I have a lot of videos out there that you can see my past life doing that. Now I was doing a lot of data analytic, data simulations, trying to understand how this work. And I worked in the lab for a while. I was teaching as teaching assistant at the University of Amsterdam. I also taught as teaching assistant at University of Radboud University in Nijmegen. That's north of Amsterdam. So I got to a point where I realized that I wanted something that will have direct impact in people's life. What I was doing was good. Yes, I don't dispute that. I loved it. I did it for close to 10 years. But I realized that I wanted something that will have a direct impact. And I came to find out, how can I get impact in people's life? I like to educate. I like to empower people. And I was looking at, and that was when I actually moved to the US. Now, coming to a new country, having to settle down, figuring out what to do and changing careers, IT was just the right place for me to go. It wasn't really new to me anymore because of my past career, but I was not really fully into IT when I was in an educational research center. So I discovered that data is a new oil because everything revolves around data. So long as human beings exist, and so long as we are exposed to the internet, we will always generate data. And every single one of us sitting here today have a digital footprint. Now we keep generating data, and people have to manage that data. Now, database administrator was just the right thing for me to start with, right? So I kind of took some extra courses to improve on my performance on what I already know. And that's how I started up in the IT field. Started up just gradually. I think my first batch, I had just about 2 students. Kyawi right now has over 400 people, and we've trained over 300 plus and graduated and placed so many people in the IT industry that are doing a lot of things for their individual families.
That's good to hear. You had talked that you wanted to talk numbers, right? Yeah. So let's talk numbers. How many people have you graduated from Kyawi Tech?
Yes.
How many?
Yes. So at Kyawi Tech, right now, currently we are running a batch that has close to 150 people. But in its startup, my explosion really started just recently after coronavirus started. But effectively, we have graduated over, I would say, roughly over 120 people. And out of those 120 people, we have close to 70 plus placed in the job market. Well, What you have to understand in this field is um, people will not always get to the finish line. And when you go through a training, we have a lot that we've put in place to make sure that you stay motivated, you stay engaged, and you finally get to the finish line and finish strong. But you can't force people to do that. Some people finish a training and they never look for a job. A job will never come looking for you. That's one thing I tell my trainees all the time. Wow, some people do finish, and for some reason, family related reason, they never look for a job or they don't want to move. In this field, you should be coming in with the willingness to relocate, especially when it comes to your first job. I tell people all the time, I like to give people the reality on the ground so that they understand what they're going in for, rather than getting surprised at the end and they realize that the only way they can get their job, probably maybe they will have to relocate. I'm not saying all jobs you have to relocate, but for your first job, get into a brand new field that is lovely going to be difficult, and you have to be flexible. So we've actually placed all these people. I will say Kyawi Tech in the last 5+ years have contributed nothing less than $10 million into American economy. And this is something that we are extremely proud of.
So when you talk about the American economy, you're saying that you have not contributed less than 10 million in you have not. So the immigrants you've graduated have at least gained at least 10 million, and that's because of Kyawi Tech. That's because of you.
That's right. So I will say the overall, these values are the overall income generation as a result of the training from Kyawi Tech. We have successfully brought in $10 million into the immigrant families, combined of all the immigrants that have gone through our program successfully, and they have been able to got jobs into different top companies out there. If you were to put all their salary together, annual salary, that's the number that I'm talking about.
Can you prove this? I mean, we're talking about 10 millions. You said last year and stuff like that. Do you have testimonials? Do we have those people? Can you show me people saying, hey, I graduated from Kyawi Tech and I'm making $100,000 right now?
Definitely, man. That's something that we don't just say it. We actually have the numbers. I mean, if you go to our YouTube channel, Kyawi Tech IT Academy YouTube channel, it's actually just Kyawi Tech. You are able to find a lot of testimonials, and we run Tuesday webinars. And if you also go to our website and go on the blog section, you are able to see just this year, 2021. We are barely talking about March. We have graduated and we've placed over 25 people. And you can see that on our website. Every single Tuesday when we have testimony, it's all published on our website. You can see them, their names and their numbers. You can even go to our YouTube channel and watch their testimonial, them talking about the success story and how Kyawi Tech has actually helped them and how the community has actually changed their life. So these are just not numbers I'm giving you. You have proof. Literally, the only proof that I'm not going to give you is the salary, that you see the salary, because people have to have some level of privacy. But you can check the numbers yourself. You can go online and check for average database administrator salary in the US or in the city where you are, and the internet will tell you. So if someone is telling you that he or she has gotten a database administrator position, you will know how much that person is making, approximately. Maybe not exact, but approximately.
Yeah, do you know how I know that someone's got an IT job?
No, tell me.
They got a Mercedes. They bought it.
Oh my goodness. I think I need to drive a Mercedes though. I don't drive a Mercedes.
So why don't you drive one?
Well, because I don't believe the notion of Mercedes are the only good cars that we drive, right? There are very good ones out there. And I drive a nice car. I think my car, I'm very comfortable with my car. And there shouldn't be any reason why I have to drive a Mercedes.
Right. Personal wealth, personal finances, right? I don't want you to talk about money that you got from everywhere else. I want you to talk about money that you generated teaching people in Kyawi Tech, right? Do these students pay you?
Yes, the teaching is not free. And that's what I always try to tell people. When you are trying to change your career, or when you're trying to grow in your career, you have to think about, what can I do with this knowledge? if someone doesn't hire me tomorrow? Am I just going to do it, get some degrees and put it on my wall, and if no one hires me, they will be useless? No. Look, I am a consultant, I'm a full-time employee, and I do teach, right? What does this mean is that when you go through a program like this, you are putting yourself on limited, you're actually exposed to unlimited opportunities. You can consult, you can be an employee, you can do what I'm doing by teaching. The students are not doing that for free. We actually focus on community empowerment. And if you look at our syllabus and our courses that we offer and the amount that we charge, you will see that it is just kind of a motivating factor because we have a lot of people involved. We have mentors, we have external speakers, we have a lot of things that we need to. So that money is really just to keep the organization running. Because if you are to compare with similar programs out there, to see that we dedicate 6 months of intensive training for you. We dedicate 2 months plus intensive follow-up during interviews for you. We dedicate a mentor for you. We give you professional licenses, which each license costs roughly $15,000 if you were able to get it, if you were to get it on your own. And we have up to 3 of them. So just by joining the organization, you are getting license worth over $15,000 just by getting that. Now we have all this put in place for you, and we dedicate 8 months of our time for you for $3,000. I think that we can't go lower than that, and you can't get better than this because our goal is not just the money. But of course, this is a business. In as much as we are empowering people, it is a business, and we got to protect the business because people's lives have tremendously been changed through a business like this. Of course.
That makes sense. You're saying so much empowerment. I want to empower people. I'm giving them a knowledge for almost free, right? The typical African man doesn't do that. If I go and see, they say if I see a black plum on the black like in Cameroon, right? If I see somewhere I see a gold mine, I typically hide it for myself. So what motivates you to want to teach people information technology when you could be the only one doing that and not teach others about it?
Very good question. And I really like that one. And I always tell people this. It is not just about when someone comes in and is complaining that $3,000 is a lot of money. And I always ask, for me to teach doesn't mean that I cannot get the money somewhere else. You can literally, from the knowledge that you've gained here, there's so many different ways that you can make money. But I grew up, I think this is actually from my background, the way I grew up, the way my parents actually taught me. I've always been a teacher. And one funny thing, I've always been a teacher, but I deep inside my heart, I've always said I will never be a teacher. If you were to ask my colleagues, my friends back in secondary school, the profession that I vow that I will never do in my life was to become a teacher. And today I'm a full-blown instructor. I'm an educationalist. So I like to give back, and I think that I can't give you money, right? I think the best way for me to empower you is through education, because that's something that no one can take away from you. What you know it. You can lose a job today and lose all the wealth that you have, but tomorrow, just because you have some level of education, you're able to regenerate all that. And I think, to me, is the best way for me. I could empower people by giving them money, but what happens after that? Nothing, right? So, and I really think that knowledge sharing is powerful. And personally, for me, it has really helped me so much, and I found a purpose in life. Because sometimes in life you go through this and you begin to ask yourself, why am I even here? Reason why I was actually born. But I will always say every single individual has a purpose. There's a reason why you were brought to this world, and you need to figure out what that purpose is. And I think, to me, my own purpose being here on earth is to empower people, and the only way I can empower them is by showing them the right way for them to make a decent income and live a good life for themselves and for their families.
That's pretty good. Well, let's touch back on this. You're saying that your empowerment of other people has brought $10 million into the immigrant community, right?
Correct.
That's what you're saying. And you said you can prove these through testimonials, but not through personal, yearly pays or paychecks.
That's
Right.
great.
Right. My question is this. How much are you willing, how much further are you, or if I give you one more year, how much money do you think you can still pump or inject into this, immigrant community? And yeah, answer that, and I have another question coming.
Man, I don't have a limit. I don't plan to have any limit. Look at it. The thing is this: we need to look at this. Look at other communities. For example, the Indian communities, the Chinese communities. I'm talking about people that are really into this IT industry, right? When you show up in an interview as an Indian or Chinese or an Asian, by default, they just assume that you know it. Why? Why do you think so? Is it because they are so smart, or is because they started doing what I'm doing right now years ago, and they brought in their people? They showed them the right thing, and they empower them by being there for them. And we're just doing all that. We're not doing anything that is so different. We're just doing what other communities have been doing, and we have been left behind. No industry or no economy advances without information technology. It is part and parcel of us. We have to grow along with it. Now, the good thing is we stand a better chance of doing more than what other communities have done. Why? Because Africa is the future. We are all here, but we all know that Africa is the future. And in most African countries, digitalization has not yet been embraced. Why? Because this sensitization is not there. People don't see the need to protect data. People don't see the need to understand that personal data protection is kind of a human right, where you don't need to have your data flashed out there. We all grew up and we all know how intimidating it was when the GCE results were published, right? And you know that the only person that has failed in the entire city is this guy. Why? Do you think that that's right? That is not right. And why are they doing that? Because no one tells them that that kind of a thing is a personal data that no one else except that student is supposed to know that he or she has passed the exam or not. I don't need to know whether you had 10 A grades or 1A or C grades and so on. Those are kind of things that when you look back in Africa, you see that we don't even value that. Why? Because people don't know. They really don't know that. But in the Western world, we live in the Western world where we understand that all these people do commit suicide just because they found out that they were the last in class, right? People do horrible things with people's data. And we have to be able to protect that. Not even protecting data. Let's just think about the data that is actually out there, and we cannot make money out of it because no one is actually there. So I think that there shouldn't be any limit for us, because we can make a decent income here. We can make an impact here in the Western world as well as back in Africa where we come from, by educating people, making people understand that this is the right direction for us to grow if we need to grow our economy.
So you're basically telling me that I don't have the right to know who passed last in my advanced level class.
No, man, I don't think that's not your business, right? That is not your business. I mean, we all live here, and some of us listening have gone to schools here. Can you tell me one single instance where the entire class results were published openly?
I probably can't. I cannot. No.
Yeah. So sometimes it's not really necessary, right? Because uh, what does you how does it benefit you knowing that I had 5A grades and you had C, or this one failed? How does that benefit you? I mean, it's okay to know that the entire class had about 90%, 60%, but it's not your business to know what the other person had, right? Okay, it's none of your business to have my date of birth published out there like that. You don't need to know my age. That's not your business. It's not your business to know how much this person has on their bank account. Back home, we are so lenient in dealing with personal data to a fault. And that's really, really dangerous. And a lot of people have really fallen prey to that, Right. And I just think that there's so much that we can actually achieve and we can actually do as people and actually grow our economy, right? So this was just one example. This was just one
Okay.
example. But the goal here is really to understand that so many businesses can be created when we go in the digitalization route, when the economy is digitalized. Here, you can rent a vehicle here, wherever you go, so long as you have an ID, an address, nobody fears to give you the car because you can't go anywhere. They can track you down. Why? Because the system has been made in that way. And the only way you can do this is by involving IT into the whole thing and having everybody register. Everyone can be traced, their addresses, everyone has a number that you can trace that. So all that goes back where? Back into IT, right? And look at this, for example, right now. We have a lot of companies that are going to the cloud. That's the other route. The few things that we teach at Kyawi Tech IT Academy is database administration as on-premises and cloud computing, which is where the entire world is going to. I'm going to talk about that one later on. But at least this is just what I'm trying to make us understand, that there is a lot that we can profit from if we learn from people that have been doing it, and we have proof. Go to any good neighborhood here in the US. Go to the top neighborhood and look at the people that are living there. You will see that you must see an Asian. You must. Why? Because they have taken over this IT industry, and we can do it. I believe that we can do it, and that's why I have no limit how far I can go.
So your plan is to oversee Indians in IT technology.
Why not? Why not?
You know how hard that is?
No, no, it's not hard, right? Let me just give you an example. We are doing
Right.
it right now. Uh, I've not been in the US for a while, but I would like to ask someone that has been in the US here for the last 20 years and
Right.
ask how many Africans were actually into IT? How many of them?
True.
Has
True.
IT just been discovered now? It has always
No.
been there,
Right.
right? Now we are all talking about these IT guys, they make a lot of money and so on and this and that. But someone was making that money when we were not seeing it. The only thing we were seeing were the kind of job that the people that came before us were exposing
Making.
us to, right?
Right.
So what
Right.
we're doing right now, we're changing the narrative that, hey guys, we are not saying that all that jobs, that only IT jobs are good, but I'm telling you, as you are considering career perspective, look also in this direction, because here you can also make a good income and a good life.
That makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I just learned something today. And when I go back to Cameroon, I'm suing some people, I'm suing the GCE board for putting out my grades out there like that. I don't.
Do you know it's just now that the GCE board has even tried to even implement some kind of privacy into people's kind of personal things, right? Because still, the radio station, I don't know whether the radio station still reads out the GCE result that they used to do back then, but having it printed on newspaper, even though they are having some codes right now where you can actually view this result by sending a code, if it's still printed on newspaper, it's still wrong. It's still wrong,
Right.
right?
Right.
You can't blame them, man. You can't blame them. They are not exposed. Most of these things like that, people need to get to know them. And so long as they are ignorant in what they're doing, that's the only way they can send the result out there. But now, this young generation, we know that that is not right.
What are you doing to change that back in Cameroon?
Thank you so much. Very beautiful question. Summer of 2021, we're going back home. We're setting up a center in Buya, an
Right.
Here we take IT academic branch in Buya. And our goal is to help people. Buya, before the crisis, was seen as the Silicon Mountain. This was a place where young, talented minds, without the assistance of anybody, were able to come together, put things together, and were able to revolutionize IT in Buya before the
Right.
crisis started. Right
Right.
now, a lot has been crippled with the shutdown of internet, all that, but they are gradually coming back. But I think that we have the potential. We have everything we need to take over this IT industry. And let me give you an example. When you book your flight and you try to cancel the flight and you call the customer center, who picks up the call? Do you think that person sits here? No. You hear someone with an Indian accent, with a Chinese accent, with South America somewhere. Those jobs have all been pushed out. They've all been sent out there to other countries. Now, there is no country, I mean, let me not say no, but there are very few countries in Africa that can boast of that opportunity, where companies out there here are able to have this outsource. That's the right word I was looking for. Outsource these jobs to Africa. But we speak better English. Most African countries have English as a national language. Most of these other countries don't even have English as a national language, right? So we can do that, not as national, but as official language. So we can actually compete in this field because we speak English clearly enough and we are educated. Our population is young. So we have all that it needs to take over this. But so long as we don't actually educate the people to make them look in that direction, no one will do that. That's why we're setting up the center in Buea, because we want to train people. We want people to understand that when you are studying for any program, your goal should not only be, how will the government hire me? Or who will hire me after I get this? I want people to change the mindset. That narrative has to be changed. That what will I do with this degree if no one is there to hire me? Can I create employment for myself? And what I'm doing right now, I'm going down there and I already have the Kiawi Tech right now has a whole team in Africa that are already ready for us just to set up the whole place. We have all the computers board. We are setting up a top classy training center that no other company out there can compete with. And that's what we want to. We want to set the standard. We are not there we're not going to accept the fact that when we're doing something, just do it. We want to set the standard because it's through our standard that we've been very successful out here. And we're not going to change that just because we're moving to Africa. So if you are watching this and you are willing to join us, come September 2021, we have a top center in Buea where you can literally walk in there and take the classes taught by top instructors here in the US as well as some of our instructors in Cameroon. So the good thing is that we understand the challenges that people are facing back home. Internet, electricity issues, water, and even the cost, not being able to pay for it. So we have taken that. Still in line with our empowerment, everyone that is taking the program from Cameroon gets a 65 to 70% discount off the fee. So right now we are at 500,000 and we're still working on that. Compared to the US counterpart where they pay $3,000 for the training, in Cameroon, everyone pays 500,000. And we even make it even easier for everyone to take by taking the 500,000 and dividing it by 8 to take a monthly installment to make sure they're able to do that. Secondly, we issue scholarships. That's still in line with, you ask me, how do I empower people? That's right. Through our foundation, we have a Kiawi foundation. So we are able to secure scholarship for people that are really in financial difficulties. So if you really want to take this program and your problem is finance, you can always apply for scholarship. And we will review your scholarship and we'll either give you a full scholarship or a partial scholarship. Now, even here in the US, we have successfully, 2020, Kiawi Tech awarded over $60,000. We have this proven in scholarship to people living here in the US. For every single batch, we had $30,000 in scholarship. And it was always given out. The first time we launched it, we had about 60 applicants. The second time we launched it, we had 100 applicants. We were not able to even accommodate the people, which means there are people that are really willing to do this. Finance is their problem. We try our best. We actually gave some people partial scholarship and some people gave them full scholarship. And the thing that I'm so proud of is that a few of my trainees that actually went on a full scholarship finished up this program and they are $100,000 annual salary for something that they didn't have to pay for. Wouldn't you call that a life-changing decision?
That's actually a life-changing decision. That's pretty good. I mean, I'll give that to you. You're providing scholarships. You're injecting about $10 million into, the last couple of years into the immigrant community. And you're taking this overseas. I would love to see that come to life. And I don't mean to challenge you, right? But I know some people that would say, I tried that before, or I've done that before, or he doesn't know what he's talking about. What sets you apart? What makes you believe so? Why are you so convicted? Why do you think that Kyawi Tech would do these things that you're saying, given that some people have tried before and failed?
That's right. And I think that in life, there is nothing that you're going to do in life that someone did not try before. Even this program that I'm telling you right now, a lot of people tried it and they did not succeed. But some people tried it and they did succeed. Let us be there to tell our own stories that we tried it and we didn't work. And now we already understand that we're going to face challenges. And we're doing everything possible to make sure that we overcome our challenges. Some of the things that we're doing is that we have a standard at Kiawi Tech. In as much as you come in here and you pay your fee, we hold you accountable for the time that you spend here with us. Every single trainee, because we don't call our people students. You are not a student with us. You are a trainee, because what we provide is a vocational training, which is job-oriented training. So you are a trainee. From day one, we start training you how to talk, how to organize meetings, how to present yourself, how to answer questions in a professional manner, all the way till the finish line. So our interview training starts from day one, right? So how do we hold people accountable? Every single trainee has what we call a key performance indicator. From the time when you log into classes, you do your homework. Are you absent from program? Are you participating? Are you actually doing what you're supposed to be doing? Are you passing the exams? All that, we put it together and you have a score, right? We show you, and we have counselors that sit down with you when you are performing below a certain percentage. We'll sit down with you and try to talk to you. And we will either advise you to drop out of the program if you don't have the time, and retake it when you have it, rather than spending your time, your money for something that you are not going to reap the benefit of that. So this is how we do it. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want you to hold us accountable for what we promise. And we cannot be accountable if you are not doing your best, because the only thing we can give you is 50% of what you need. The remaining 50% has to come from you. So we are doing all that. So we have mentors, we have counselors, we have a whole community. When you join, you are not joining an educational institution. You are joining a community of people that have benefited from this similar training throughout, and they're willing to volunteer their time and their resources to make sure that you also get the same benefit.
What is a Kyawi Tech promise? If I were to join today, what's that promise? What would you promise that I'll have to hold you accountable for?
What we promise you, we have our slogan. Kyawi Tech is a place where dreams become a reality. You come to us with a dream and we make that dream a reality. We will never promise you a job. That's for sure. We will never promise you a job. But we will promise you that we will do everything in our capacity to make sure that you succeed. And we always stand by our word.
Percentage-wise, in the past, I know you said, I know you do everything 100%. I know that. That's a fact. But in the past, the people you've promised, how many of them have you actually done? You've done your 100%, right? But how many of their dreams have you realized?
I will put myself right now at 70%.
So out of 100 people, you've made 70% have their dreams.
Yes, okay. I put myself at 70%. And and I'm very proud of the 70%, because there are always going to be circumstances where people will have that you can't change, and you have to respect that, right? So I place it at 70%.
That makes sense. That's pretty good. I mean, that's not bad at all. If you ask me, that's not bad at all. So just to recap, I'm talking to the guy, Dr. Kyawi, that has injected $10 million into the immigrant community through information technology. And he has done this by teaching people, other immigrants, especially African immigrants, to understand database administration, Amazon Web Services, and other informational technology programs. And the way that he's doing this is actually, resulted in an above 70%, I would say, job placement or dream realization, percentile or something like that. So let me come back to you. Let's talk about you, right? You're realizing people's dreams. I don't want to touch your personal finances. Again, I don't want to go to this because we as African people, we don't want to tell people how much we have. we just see the money and people ask us questions and we're like, no. So my question is this. How much have you made in information technology for the past 3 years? Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Teaching as an employee, everything. How much? Just give me a ballpark.
I think that's a very, and at this point, you realize that I've become an African.
Right. So
it's a time where I've become an African. I wouldn't put numbers, but I think I've made a lot of money.
A lot of money. A lot of, you said in the start, money is relative. So maybe a lot of money might not be a lot of money to me. What do you mean a lot of money?
That's right. Well, let me.
Okay.
On average, right?
Yeah.
On average, we've trained over 200 plus people.
Okay. I'm talking about you. How much have you made in information?
I'm still getting there.
Okay.
Get there. We've trained over 200 plus people, and I've successfully doing this career for that length of time. Man, you really want to have a figure?
Give me a minute. 200 plus people times, you charge 3,000, right?
Yes.
For 6 months. So 200 times 3,000, that's 300,000 times.
Let me just give you a raw figure.
Yeah.
If you go on a training with 100 people, and if those 100 people really get to go through the training and they pay, you are talking about $300,000, and you can do that twice a year.
Okay. And you can do that twice a year. 300, 600 times 3, that's 1,800 million. Let's put it that way. My people. Yeah.
At this moment, I claim that my mathematics teacher failed me.
That's okay. Do you still work as an IT tech?
If I do work?
Yeah, do you work?
That's one of the conditions at Kyawi. There's every single one of our instructor has to be a full-time employee out there, including me. Okay. Because we believe that when you teach from a theoretical background or standpoint, you miss the message. But when you teach people based on what you practice at work, you give them the right information. So condition number 1 is that you have to be a full-time employee.
That's pretty good. Do you teach classes online or on site?
Yeah, so all our classes, our programs are designed for working professional. And we understand the difficulties involved in doing all that. So that's why all our classes are online. They are virtual classes via Zoom platform. And one thing that I try to let people understand is it's not as difficult and scary like most of you really think it is. Because some people always say, oh no, I've never taken an online program. I'm not sure I'm going to succeed and all that. Look, what is the difference between you and I sitting right now, and I'm talking to you live, where you can stop me, ask a question, ask me to repeat, and even ask me to share my screen and show me the problem that you are having. And doing that in class where I have to walk to your desk and see what is going on. What's the difference? It's the only difference is the physical, that you can't touch me, but it's the same. So we have to embrace this. This is the world we live in. If you have that mentality, it is time for you to change that mentality, because that is the way we're going to live for the next years to come. Life has changed. Coronavirus has taught us, something that when you are going in for a career, you need to understand that that career needs to be disaster or pandemic proof. IT has proven that. Look, when coronavirus hit, what happened? I still think that a lot of states right now in the US are still offering classes online. If you tell me that having a class online is not as productive as having it in front of you, I can say somehow, depending on how you look at it, you could be right. But this is for people that are really working, and you have to create conditions favorable for them. By the way, we offer our program for people all over the world. So we don't have some kind of a centralized location where people have to come there to take our program. And the comfort of your home, so long as you have access to the internet and a phone or a laptop, you can take our program. Right? So that's why we make it easy for people that when you come back from work, you are tired. You don't want to drive again somewhere else, sit down there in classroom, take classes, and then you have to drive back home. All that is tiring. Sit home. Just look for a quiet environment, get your laptop, be ready to take our classes, and we'll do the rest for you.
I mean, I want to get some part of that 10 million too. How do I join Kiawi Tech?
Very beautiful question. So Kyawi Tech, it's online. You can go on www.kiawitech.com. So it's KIAWITECH.com. So kiawitech.com. And on our website, we have all the courses that we offer, every information that you would like to know about the program. You can go to a frequently asked questions section on our website, and you will read more on what people have been asking us in the past years. We've answered it beautifully. You can also check on book an appointment to talk to one of our counselors. If the information you get from the website is not good enough, you can also apply for a course directly on our website, and our admission office will reach out to you. And if you have any doubt, someone will assign someone to talk to you and guide you. We want to make sure that everyone that goes through our program have been fully informed on what they're trying to do. And that's why we have career orientation programs where people just come in there and ask questions, and we try to guide them. Every time before we start a batch, we have a career orientation session.
KyawiTech.com. Man, I I mean, like I said, I'm pretty impressed. It seems like you're the I don't know how to say it, but you're the guy that's trying to make Cameroon the next India. So hey.
So God help me.
I'm behind you, all the way behind you. I commend your work. I've seen proof. I've seen testimonials. I haven't seen the money yet because you wouldn't tell me, but I've seen proof in testimonials. I've seen proof in people that I know that have jobs right now that went through your academy, and they're doing well for themselves. So they're buying Mercedes, that's the IT fever. When you get an IT job, you buy a Mercedes. So you're the guy that's responsible for buying so many Mercedes in
I think in that case, the Mercedes company has to give me an award then.
Yeah, they need to pay you. They need to give you a commission. But nonetheless, I'm happy to have you here today. Is there anything else you want to add that we might have not touched on?
Yes, there's one thing I want to add. For those of you listening to me today for your first time, and you've been wondering whether this is something that you can do, I want to tell you that yes, you can do it. Now, the difference between you and the next person is that you are going to take action, right? So you listen to me. This is the right time for you to pick up your pen, go on our website, and reach out to one of our career counselor who will reach out to you and actually help you answer all possible questions that you want to know. Now, it's never too late, because our programs are not only designed for people that already have a good IT background. We actually, when you sign up, you are not supposed to pay a dime. You have demo classes for 2+ weeks where you can literally come in there and see what we do and see whether you like it. And if you don't like it, you can walk away. But if you like it, that's when we will need you to do some financial engagement so that we can hold you accountable and you can also hold us accountable. You don't need an IT background. We place you on that. We go through an assessment test and we understand your level and we place you on groups that will be able to address your need. So all you need right now is bring some time, bring the motivation, and be ready to learn cool stuff. And after that, when you have that big check, come back and thank us because that's what we're here for. We will always do our best to make sure that you are comfortable even after you get a job. That's one thing that Kiawi Tech stands out. We don't leave you alone. When you get a job, we have our Tuesday webinars where we network. Like yesterday, we had a powerful presentation from one of our top guys in the community that was talking about Power BI, a very beautiful tool that we use all the time in an industry. Next week, we have another guy from Maryland that will be talking to us on other related topics. So every week, there is a new topic that we are talking about. So we are constantly making sure that you understand that getting a job is one thing, keeping that job is another thing. And the only way you can keep that job is by getting involved, and we're there to help you. So if you have not taken action, it is time for you to take action and join our next session that is starting very soon.
I have one last question before you go. I know some pretty, I don't want to say dumb, but not so intelligent people that are DBAs, right? I also know some people that have like 2 jobs because they can work from home, and you say one job costs about 100,000. So 2 jobs is like 200,000. Can you confirm that people actually have 2-3 jobs doing the DBAs?
Well, yes. And it's so long as your job that you're working on actually allows you to be able to do that, yes, you can do it, right? So that's something at the individual level, you always have to consult that with your own company to see if they allow you to do that. But if they do, you can easily do. And I know people that are doing that. And I mean, it's the sky is your limit. You are the one to set your limit. You know, that's what I always tell people. You're the one to set your limit. You can empower people through other things. You can do consultancy. You can even create your own company. There are a lot of recruiting companies like Accenture out there. You have Mindtree. You have so many other ones that I can't even think of that are owned and by Indians that employ hundreds and hundreds of people out there. The reason why they're able to is because they got into this field and they were able to empower their own people. And they have now gotten to understand how the IT industry works, and they're able to do well. I want to see top companies like Accenture owned by Africans. And if they did it, we can do it.
So, hey, everybody, this has been Dr. Kyawi of Kiawi Tech. You can find Kiawi Tech on the internet at kiawitech.com. And to the Indians in IT, Dr. Kyawi is coming for you. So, hey, thank you for having us today. We respect what you're doing. More grease to your ego. Keep pumping more money. I hope next year you might have put like another 10 million in the immigrant community. Yeah, more money, more jobs. And everyone that's looking to be an IT tech, this is the man. Thank you so much, sir, for being on our show.
What you guys are doing, and I really appreciate everything. The time here with you has been wonderful, and thank you so much.
Thank you too. All right, bye.
Thank you.
I'll say cheers. Oh, you want to cheers? It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine. It's
Cheers.
fine. Yes, cheers.
Yes.